Welcome to Garden Treasures channel. This time, we'll be talking about Dianthus, a beautiful flower that has many varieties. It's widespread in the northern temperate zone, the southern temperate zone, as well as the Mediterranean and Central Asia. It's better known as the carnation. Dianthus is an annual or perennial herbaceous or semi-shrub plant, growing up to 100 centimeters tall. The stem is erect or ascending at the base, simple or branched, up to 70 centimeters high. The leaves are linear or lanceolate linear. The flowers are solitary or gathered in dense capitate or corimbose inflorescences, clusters at the tops of the stems and branches, or umbels of 2 to 3. The petals are pink, purple, white, or yellowish-green, fringed along the upper edge. The fruit is an oblong, single-celled capsule, opening with 4 teeth. The seeds are black, shield-shaped, sometimes almost round, elliptical or oblong, and numerous. In nature, carnations are found in bright, dry places, meadows, mountain and ravine slopes. Therefore, when planting them in flower beds, you need to create similar conditions. Carnations are most often used in bright mixed borders along the edges of flower beds and in alpine gardens. These plants absolutely cannot tolerate stagnant water and lack of light, but they tolerate drought well, forming dense clumps. They suffer only from rhizomatous weeds, such as couch grass, sow thistle, and dandelions, which are difficult to remove from carnation bushes. Therefore, before planting, you need to very carefully clear the soil of extraneous roots and rhizomes. Also keep in mind that carnations are sensitive to smoke and gases, so they don't belong near roads and garages. Sand is absolutely necessary because with a silicon deficiency, carnation stems break during flowering. Carnations are propagated both by seeds and vegetatively. In the latter case, there are 2 possible methods: cuttings and layering. Remontant greenhouse carnations have recently been propagated almost exclusively by tissue culture, which provides planting material free from viruses. Carnations need to be propagated regularly and fairly often because many species are short-lived, i.e. they live for 3 to 4 years, and truly perennial ones lose their decorative effect with age, as their bushes spread out, thin out, and go bald at the base. Strange as it may seem at first glance, very few carnations are propagated by dividing the bush. Most species have a single taproot from which shoots diverge. Such bushes, however lush they may be, cannot be divided. Sometimes some of the shoots take root on their own, producing new plants, but the bulk of carnations, especially varietal ones, need special vegetative propagation. All carnations, without exception, are propagated by cuttings, but this makes no sense for annual species. Calcined sand or perlite is used for cuttings. This is important because carnations are easily infected with fungal infections. It's best to take cuttings in late May, early June, when vegetative shoots are already well distinguished from flower stalks. For rooting, vegetative shoots 3 to 9 centimeters long are used, depending on the type of carnation, but not less than with 3 to 4 pairs of leaves. Longer cuttings can also be taken, especially for tall species. The cut is made immediately below a node. Leaves from the 2 lower nodes should be removed. Along the entire length of the lower inner node, longitudinal incisions are made with a very sharp knife or scalpel to 1/3 of the stem thickness. The incised cuttings are placed in the substrate and provided with sufficient air, humidity by covering them with film or a jar. A large number of cuttings can be propagated in a cold frame. It's also useful to use a fogging unit, but without heating the soil. Roots form in 2 to 3 weeks. Propagation by layering is possible in carnations with long vegetative shoots. For this, a longitudinal incision is made on the inner node on the underside to the depth of the stem thickness. Then this part of the shoot is pinned to the ground with the cut down, covered with earth, and the soil is regularly moistened. After the formation of roots, new shoots form from the inner nodes located above the place of backfilling. The new plant can be separated from the mother plant and transplanted. Layering can also be obtained by covering the base of the bush with moist soil. The signs of root appearance are the same as for layered shoots. Very few species that form clumps of easily rooting shoots, such as Dianthus barbatus and Dianthus deltoides, are propagated by division. Division is best done in early spring, then the young plants will bloom in the first season. Species grown as annuals and biennials are most often propagated by seed. Carnations are often sold as varietal types, meaning it is known in advance that the plants grown from seed will not be uniform in color. Carnations are sown in pots with sandy soil in April-May. The optimal soil temperature for germination is +16 +20 degrees Celsius. The seedlings are weak, so pots are needed so as not to lose the seedlings. When the seedlings have 3 to 4 pairs of leaves, they are carefully transplanted into new pots or into a nursery bed. They are transplanted to a permanent place the following spring. Sowing carnations in a permanent place is inconvenient. They grow slowly and will either be lost or choked by weeds if sown sparsely, or most of them will die from crowding if sown densely. Carnations can be sown in open ground either in early spring or before winter. With spring sowing, most species germinate for more than 2 weeks, with winter sowing 1 to 2 weeks after the snow melts. In the first year, perennials form rosettes, overwinter in this form, and bloom in the second year. Annual carnations of the Chabot group and Dianthus chinensis, grown as annuals, are sown in January-February in boxes at a temperature of +12 +15 degrees Celsius in a mixture of leaf mold, sod clay soil, and sand in a ratio of 1 to 2 to 1. They are pricked out when true leaves appear into the same mixture with the addition of humus. The plants are kept at a temperature of +8 +12 degrees Celsius so that they do not stretch, placing them in the brightest places or providing additional light. They are planted in the ground in May. Carnations growing outdoors in good conditions rarely get diseases. Greenhouse carnations, however, are susceptible to a huge number of diseases. Outdoors, the development of diseases is promoted by dampness, dense plantings, and an excess of nitrogen with a lack of potassium. So carnations should not be fed with pure nitrogen fertilizers and manure, especially fresh. It's better to use complex mixtures that necessarily contain potassium. Bacterial diseases are transmitted by pests or enter the plant when it is damaged. Usually, these are wet rots, which also affect gladioli, hyacinths, and irises. Carnations and tulips also have common fungal diseases. Because of common diseases and some pests, it's best not to plant carnations next to them. Viral diseases of carnations are incurable, and their pathogens persist in the soil for a very long time. So the place where carnations are planted needs to be changed at least once every 5 years. Colored spots with a velvety coating on the leaves and stems are the result of fungal diseases. They are ubiquitous and often cause plant death. They are especially harmful in warm, humid weather. Fungal infections are treated with copper preparations and other fungicides. Fusarium is especially dangerous because in this case the fungus develops inside the plant and does not die during treatment. The root system and the base of the stem rot, the leaves and stems turn yellow and curl. Diseased plants must be removed and destroyed. And the soil should be thoroughly watered with fungicides twice, with an interval of a month. At this point, the video comes to an end. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you again